parents worry at some time that their kids aren't eating the right sorts of things, or that they're not eating the right amount. I think that's pretty common for parents. The current thought, and this may seem revolutionary, but the current thought is that our job as parents and caregivers is to provide healthy foods in a variety, in a pleasant environment, and it's the child's choice, and it's their responsibility to choose whether they're going to eat and how much. And that seems really hard sometimes, but we've also learned that if we pressure children too much to eat, they either eat too much or they refuse to eat it at all, and that can be just as much of a problem. So having battles over food doesn't really benefit anybody. Remember that, you know, a portion size for a small child is about a tablespoon of a particular food per year of age, and so you would give a 3-year-old 3 tablespoons of vegetables, whereas you'd give a 10-year-old more than a half a cup. So you have to keep the serving size reasonable for those small stomachs. And I think similarly, if the child is involved in preparing the meal, they're more likely to eat it. If they see that you as the parent are eating the same sorts of foods, family meal times can be really important for children. And we know that children who eat in families often have better nutrient consumption than those who don't. Turning off the TV and other sorts of media can be really important, because it's really hard for children to divide their time, their thoughts, and so if the TV's on, they'll pay attention to that and not what's in front of them on their plate. Their taste buds are a lot more sensitive than ours as adults. So realizing that it's going to take several times of an introduction to a new food for a child to accept it is something that parents need to recognize, so that presenting it once or twice may not be enough. Maybe you need to present it 10 or 15 times before a child will say, oh, this really isn't bad, or it's okay. And so I think little techniques like that can be really helpful. If you want kids to eat their meals, it's probably better not to give them anything to drink until after they've had most of their meal. Elsewise, they'll fill up on the liquid and then won't eat whatever the regular meal food is. And so that could be helpful in terms of getting your child to have a good intake. I think not having foods as rewards or punishments is another key thing to try. I know sometimes it's really hard. And if you eat your vegetable, I'm going to give you dessert. But by and large, that's not an effective technique. And in terms of that child regularly learning to eat their vegetables or whatever that particular food happens to be. And I think it's okay for kids to have some definite likes and dislikes. And so those are some of the things to think about.